Now and again, the world feels, boring. We've visited all the far-off islands, conquered the Arctic, and penetrated the deepest jungles. However, there is still one place left to explore. It's a wet and slippery desert inhabited by mysterious creatures living in complete darkness, the deep sea. Let's dive down. When we consider the sheer size of the world's oceans, it's hard to believe that less than 2% of all biomass on Earth lives here. And of that small percentage, around 90% is found near the surface, within the first 200 meters. This is where we begin our journey. Here, light can still penetrate the water, allowing photosynthesis to occur. Phytoplankton, millions of single-celled algae and bacteria, make up the foundation of the ocean's ecosystem. They're consumed by larger plankton, which are eaten by other species. The seabed at this depth is similar to the Amazon rainforest, often covered with coral reefs, algae, and other sea plants that are home to a plethora of sea creatures. So far, we've focused most of our attention on this relatively pleasant environment, where we fish, swim, pollute, and conduct science. So, let's dive deeper. Moving from familiar coastal waters into deeper, more remote areas, we finally reach the edge of the continental shelf, where we are confronted with the continental slope, the long descent down to the deep sea. With each additional meter of water, light fades drastically, meaning there are practically no more plants. The seemingly steep continental slope begins to remind us of the surface of the moon. Looking out, we're faced with what seems to be endless, vast water. Let's leave the slope behind us and enter what's known as the twilight zone, the gateway to the deep sea. As we sink further, the water pressure rises to lethal levels. The deepest scuba dive ever recorded reached 332 meters. At that depth, the pressure is like having 200 cars stacked on top of you. Yet, we've only completed 3% of our journey. While this region seems pretty bleak, many fish and other creatures actually spend part of their lives here. During the day, it's a great place to rest and recover, hidden from predators in the vast, dark waters. At night, they can safely travel into shallower zones to feed in the food-rich surface waters. In this transition zone between twilight and darkness, light becomes a powerful tool. More than 90% of the species native to this deep environment use bioluminescent chemicals to produce light. They do so to camouflage against the faint sunlight, to communicate with potential mates, or to confuse and frighten attackers. Or, they use lights to hunt. Another tool for survival in the dark is teamwork. At around 700 meters, we encounter a colony of siphonophores. They can grow up to 50 meters long but are only as wide as a broomstick. To attract prey, the colony creates a tragically beautiful bright blue or red light, and deploys a curtain of tentacles filled with poisonous needles that kill anything that comes too close. But most species living down here must rely on an unlikely resource, marine snow. This white, flaky substance constantly sinks from the surface to the bottom of the ocean. It consists of dead plant or animal parts, feces, shells, sand, or sediment. Although this doesn't sound very appetizing, without this crucial resource, life in the deep sea would starve. In this zone, some of the most fascinating battles between two unlikely enemies occur. Sperm whales hunt and attack giant squids the size of a house. While the squid fight back fiercely, they likely don't stand a chance. However, they do leave permanent marks on their killer's skin. As we reach 1,000 meters, deeper than the tallest structure ever built by humans, we must be cautious. This is the midnight zone, a place of sheer darkness. A barely explored wet wasteland consisting of endless black, open water. At these depths, it's harder for a human to swim than to walk in space. Finding food down here is incredibly difficult, so life had to adapt and become extremely energy efficient. Take, for example, the 30-centimeter-long vampire squid that drifts through the water without moving, with long, thin catching arms extended. They're covered in small, strong hairs that brush food from the water. This saves a lot of energy compared to actively hunting for food. For predatory fish, it's much harder to find food since living prey is very rare here. So, the hunters must get a perfect hold on their victim in the first strike, otherwise, it will escape into the dark. Some deep-sea predators have several sets of long and deadly teeth, like the viperfish, which uses its long teeth to trap even large prey and swallow it whole. Or the frilled shark, with its impressive set of 300 teeth, which are curved backward to hook their victims in their mouths. We sink further, below the 3,800-meter mark, as deep as the grave of the Titanic. We are now at abyssal depths. Here, life occurs in slow motion. Conserving every bit of energy is vital for survival. Everything down here floats still or swims in a slow, graceful fashion. The only time the creatures living in this zone move fast is when they need to escape danger, like the Dumbo octopus paddling with its ear-like fins, or the grenadier's fish with its slow, eel-like tail beats. At 4,000 meters, we finally reach the ground again, the abyssal plain. It's covered in dark mud and rocks dusted with the remains of marine snow, which is consumed by creatures like sea cucumbers, shrimp, sea urchins, and sea worms. In some regions of the seafloor, small, dark mineral deposits can be seen. These are manganese nodules. Deep-sea corals and sponges use them to anchor themselves on the ocean floor. Though life is sparse on the deep-sea floor, even down here there are oases. In the rift valleys, where tectonic plates are splitting apart, magma heats up seawater and creates dark jets of water and minerals as hot as 400 degrees Celsius, forming elaborate chimneys and towers. Extremophile bacteria use the minerals to create organic matter that serves as the foundation for unique ecosystems. As we descend further, we reach the deepest point of the abyssal plain at 6,000 meters. For most of the ocean floor, this is as deep as it gets, but to reach the deepest point of the oceans, we're only halfway there. Let's enter the Hadal zone, the underworld of the sea. It consists of long, narrow trenches that make up only about 0.25% of the oceans and are among the most extreme environments on Earth. Only extremophiles exist down here, like the ethereal snailfish, which holds the record for the deepest living fish ever seen at around 8,000 meters. We see spiky and sharp black rocks rush by as we sink down to over 10,000 meters. Until we reach the final slope, a trench inside the larger Mariana Trench, with gently sloping sides that frame a valley about 1.6 kilometers wide. This is it. The deepest point, the Challenger Deep. 11,000 meters below the surface. The water pressure here is 1,086 bars. Swimming here is like balancing 1,800 elephants on top of you. But even here, life has managed to thrive. Alongside sea cucumbers, white and light pink amphipods squirm their way through the water. Their size is astonishing. While their shallow water cousins are only a few centimeters long, the deep-sea version can reach up to 30 centimeters. And there are other things floating elegantly through the water, plastic bags that were found by scientists in 2018. Yes, even the remotest place on Earth isn't safe from human influence. There's nothing left to do now, and our oxygen is running out, so we begin our ascent. After hours of passing through dark nothingness, we finally catch a glimpse of light. We arrive back at a calm surface. The oceans are so deep. There is so much of them. We owe it to ourselves and to our descendants to protect them as well as we can. There are still so many wondrous things left to discover. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this journey into the mysteries of the universe. If you found this video interesting, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more amazing updates.